guys, trucking with TJ. I don't know if you see my previous video, but I kind of said I would break things down into two parts, so that way it just wasn't one long ass video. I definitely know how that feels. All right, so let's see. Just to dive straight into it, we're talking about the Schneider CDL training program out of Wilmer, Texas. It's also considered the CAT program, the CDL apprenticeship training program. Right now, we already talked about weeks 1 and 2, which is arriving to the facility, getting situated, getting rentals, staying in a hotel, things of that sort of nature. Right now, we're going to talk about weeks 3 and 4, and also weeks 5, 6, and potentially 7. But so weeks 3 and 4 consist of you being with a TE. Your TE might not be with the account that you have applied to be on. It's okay. It does not matter as long as you're getting the driving that you need, the backing that you need, as long as you're being able to do the pre-trip and the air brake testing, things like that. All of that extra shit doesn't matter until it's actually time to get out there in the field. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna train you specifically for that account. So if you're on a Sprouts account and you need reefer training, if you haven't done any reefer training, they're gonna give it to you. Specialized backing training, if you haven't done it, they're gonna give it to you, so don't trip. So weeks 3 and 4, I was training with the Walmart account. Shout out to VJ, that was my trainer. He taught me a lot when it came to backing. I backed a lot. We were doing pumpkin runs at the time, so we were hitting about 3 or 4 stores a day, or sometimes 3 or 4 stores a route. Then go back and pick up a B route and have to hit another 3 or 4 stores. We were hitting super Walmarts and neighborhood Walmarts. Neighborhood Walmarts are super tight, so your backing has to almost kind of be elite for some of those stores, so that definitely helped get my backing up. We did that for about 2 weeks. We were driving out to Abilene, which is like a 4-hour drive there, 4-hour drive back. I did the night part of it most of the time. I liked the night driving. Well, actually, kind of, we split it 50-50, but I started out doing the night portion of it. So I would get up at 1:30 a.m., be there for 2. We'll leave the facility about like 3:30, and I would be doing all the night driving. I don't know why, I just kind of like night driving. There's no traffic out there. I don't gotta worry about assholes being rude. So that worked out for me. And then like the backing kind of came like natural. Like, I ain't gonna say I'm good at it, but I've definitely gotten a lot better at it. I stayed at a hotel for my 2 weeks with a TE. He went home every day, so we had an opportunity to stay at another hotel. We also had rental cars. So I had my own rental car, and then the other student that was in the truck with us training, he had his own rental car. And yeah, that was really the gist of it. So let's see, that was weeks 3 and 4, weeks 5 and 6. So boom, after you finish with your TE, you go back over to the Wilmer training facility. When you're at the Wilmer training facility, you're now going to be only doing what they consider DPS training. So they're literally getting you ready just to go take your actual your road test, right? So they're giving you another air brake test sheet. So to make sure that you memorize the air brakes, they're giving you another sheet for the pre-trip. This pre-trip sheet is legit only for Texas. So it's like the Texas lingo, everything you need to know, the ins and outs, word for word, what you gotta say in order to pass the pre-trip. Keep it simple. The way I did it, because I didn't know none of that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was hard for me to understand and learn the pre-trip. So what I did was, I got the paper, I got me a notebook from the dollar store, I wrote the pre-trip out word for word, exactly how it came. And then I took it from there. Relax, puppy, it's okay. Sorry, it's my dog. And then I took it from there. By the end of it, when it was time for me to actually take the test, I asked for the whole truck when I got to the DPS DPS testing facility, because that's how I memorized it. Like, I remembered it word for word. I wanted to say it and go over it word for word, so I knew I didn't forget anything. And they gave it to me. In terms of backing, the way they teach you how to back makes it a lot easier for people who have a hard time doing the opposite, right? Because when you're on the right side and you're trying to parallel park, that means you have to cut to the hard left, right? They have reference points that will help you remember that. And they have sayings that will help you remember that and things like that. Don't be nervous when you go take your DPS test. Well, matter of fact, be nervous. It's your first time. I was nervous. But it's okay if you fail. I failed twice. It didn't hurt my feelings because what I failed on, the next person passed on. So I felt like I was a blessing for those folks who were in front of me. The first time I failed on, I guess you could say the pre-trip. It was the air brake part of things. So my yellow knob wouldn't pop out, so I pulled it out. The paper legit says, do not pull out. But, you know, nervous is the first time in that situation. I pulled it out anyway, and I went from there. Whatever. Let's see. The second time I went, what did I fail on? Second time I went, holy shit. It was a windstorm, and we had advisories for wind gusts up to like 40 and 50 mile per hour. So I did 10 under the speed limit, and me going 10 under the speed limit got me failed, which I didn't care because I'd rather be safe than sorry. We got an empty trailer. I'm a new driver. I'm not finna go 65 and potentially flip us over and kill both of us and injure other drivers. I'm not doing that. So when she told me that, I just said, it's all right. It's all good. And that brought me to week 8. And because I had to wait, every time I failed, it was like an additional week wait for me to go test. And then I went back the next time, and all I had to do was drive. And the lady told me, she was like, yeah, you passed. I forgot that we were even testing, and that made me feel good. Let me know that I was more relaxed. Things felt more natural to her, and so forth. And after that, I went ahead and called up my account manager and said, hey, listen, I passed. I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to work. Like, what's going on? And they told me, you want to go home or you want to start? I was like, I'll go home for 2 days. So I went home. When I went home for 2 days, got a phone call. She said, hey, listen, come up here tomorrow night, leave at midnight, go to the Houston yard, meet such and such. You're going to ride with him up here. Hopefully your truck's ready. And I went up there. I actually ran a route with him, just one route. And then by the time we got back, she told me my truck was ready. After that, I've been rolling on my own ever since. So, yeah, overall, the training, it's a pretty good training facility. Like, all the trainers I came across, they give a damn. They want you to pass. They're rooting for you. There's really no bad vibes. The experience is what you make it. I do have a 4-year-old and a significant other and everything back at home. So at first, it was kind of hard to adjust. Ever since like COVID, like we've been together every day. So that was like the hard part. But other than that, everything else was smooth sailing. I didn't have no complaints. So let me know if you got any questions. I'm going to leave my Instagram and my email, but please feel free to reach